Okay, I want to do a video. This one is about um. I want my dog just now, and I get tired when I do that. Then I got up abruptly, but anyway. It's delicious. Excuse me. So, I want to do this video because it kind of gives you an idea of where I'm at in my channel and videos. You see, there's divestors, there's swirlers, there are mammies, they're pro-black women. There's the mixed race mammies, the mixed race people who aren't mammies. And then you have, they're kind of like divested and swirlers, but their sense of being a divester or swirler, it comes with a different expectation because they're mixed. And then there's also the people who are pro-black men, manosphere. Then you have colorism crybabies, and you have colorism deniers. I guess I fall under that. And we just have so many different categories. Then you have the colorist people. Sometimes colorism deniers are very similar to colorist people. To me, I always think if you're a colorist, you already know colorism exists, and you're keeping it alive, so people think it exists more than it has to exist. While if you're a colorism denier, you're more so just of the mentality that it doesn't exist because you haven't experienced it kind of thing. Doesn't mean you actually think negative things about dark-skinned people. It kind of actually goes against that idea. That's why it's always funny to me when I encounter people who are colorist and then claim that colorism doesn't exist when it's like you're literally keeping it alive. Like, that's weird to me. As I'm someone who doesn't really believe in colorism, but at the same time, I mean, like, the way colorist people work it is just like, whoa. Anyway, so for me, on YouTube, there's so many sectors as I just listed, and there are probably many more that I haven't listed. And personally, for me, I'm not the type that is specific to just the divested swirler end of it. Excuse me. I'm not against white women. I'm not against black men swirlers. I'm not against mixed race women. I am not the type that always claims colorism. I'm just not of that mindset. I am of the mindset that, yes, I am a swirler. Yes, I'm divested. My mother was divested and is divested, is a swirler. Things of that nature. So, I mean, like, that's how I am. Sorry, I'm thirsty. Excuse me. So, basically, sorry, I got something in my eye. Um, I encountered issues in the past. I've talked about this, the time I, did that whole thing with Rashida Strober, and I was on a live stream that was pro-black men. It had Jessica X on it when she wasn't really that well known. Um, and all that. And I mean, like, I talk to those people like, just like regular people. Because that's how I do it. I talk to mammies like they're regular people too. And I mean, like, mammies I really don't like, because mammies are always, they should be okay, but they're problematic, honestly. The reason they're so problematic is because they're so insecure with themselves that, no matter what you say to them or anything, they're always going to be like the type that always attacks, always is insecure, always is showing that they feel like they're the lowest thing on earth. I mean, it's just hard to interact with them. But when I talk to them, I try to talk to them like, normal people. Because why would you talk to a mammy as if, you were upset at them? If you want to have a conversation with somebody, you better talk to them like, they're just a regular person you're talking to and having a conversation about whatever you're conversating with them about. I mean, if you're I never call anyone or get on a live stream to fight anyone. That's just me. I'm not the type to fight anyone when I'm on the live stream. I'm just kind of like, if I got on the live stream, I agreed with something you said, and I'm going to conversate with you on what I agree with you on. Now, sometimes I might have a question of some sort. I might just want an explanation. Maybe that's why I got on the live stream. But most of the time, it's actually just because I related to whatever they said, and I just want to comment on it. And I don't know. I mean, like I like a few people on their live stream, and it's been different type of people that I've been on their live stream for. Recently, I guess you could say they were mostly divested, but in the past, it's been all sorts of different types of people. So the first time, like I said, that I have gone on someone's live stream, it was the Pro Black Men's channel. It was what people call Misha X or Jessica X or whatever. And, it was just a very pro-black channel, pro-black men channel, I mean. And the time I went on, I specifically got fired from the people that were divested and swirlers because I was conversating with them. Excuse me. Not, I guess, cursing them out or, arguing with them. Like I said, I agreed with a topic that was at hand. It was on colorism. It was on Rashida Strober, and just different things like that. Sometimes when I talk to people, I will talk to them, for example, about not black men, but they will think it's black men that I'm talking about, but I'm actually talking about white men. Like, I don't specifically say that, like, I'm dating a white man, sorry. I'm dating a white man, or I am, interested in a white man. Like, to me, that's not what I would think in my head to tell someone that I'm dating a white man. I'm not going to tell you what I'm dating. It really doesn't matter to you concerning the conversation we're having on what race the man I am with is to me. Because it's like, I'm just talking about whatever we're talking about concerning relationships. We're not talking about specifically race. So then, oftentimes, those type of channels will think that I'm talking about black men. And this has happened just recently, honestly. I had this situation happen. They put me on, not already blast, but they kind of like just lynched me. And it was like, well, I was like, I'm not one to really correct you on that. Like, you think I'm dating black men, that's fine by me. I don't really care. As long as I'm not actually doing it, because that would be traumatizing for me. And many of the time, the pro-black men channels, I'm not talking about what race I'm dating, they assume that you're dating black men because they're against they're against relationships with white men, so then I guess they assume that if I was on their channel, then I would be arguing with them. I'm not arguing with them, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, kind of situation. I don't really see the point in arguing with someone on an issue like that because it's like, why would I argue with someone on this issue when I'm not really, I'm not really in a situation where their opinion is going to really change my life. You know what I mean? Like, if they don't agree with what I do, what's it gonna do for me? Like, what really is it gonna do for me? Nothing. And if they agree, what's it gonna do for me? Nothing. So that's why, like, trying to point that out or trying to fight about it to me is like, I don't really get what am I fighting about at that point. So that's why usually when I watch like pro black men channels, it would just be like, well, this is the thing that they disagree on. They don't have to have sex with white men. I mean, in many cases, they're men themselves and they claim they're straight, so I don't think they're considering that either. Well, and if they are, well, then I don't think they're too straight. But, I mean, that's their business too and their own personal stuff, none of which I care about. Um, but that's just an insight on basically one particular situation where I would be on some platforms that were pro black men, and some channels that were, I don't know if they're pro spoilers or not. They're confusing like that. But I guess I think kind of remind me of a male Cynthia G to me, which I would consider Cynthia G pro black man. Even though they say she's a man hater, I don't really know. And if you're sucking black dick, to me, in my opinion, you're pro black man. And you're a mammy, obviously. But so like that way me, I never really care about those topics really when it comes to that. Just like with colorism, I don't really care about colorism when we're talking about the divested side, because a lot of the time on the divested side they talk about colorism, and I don't agree with the comments they have to say on colorism either. And that's a major thing, like I said. The problem in that situation was that I was talking with people on colorism because it was something that I agreed with them on, but I did not agree with like whether swirling was okay or divesting or whatever. And I mean, nobody asked me any questions on swirling or divesting, so I was just like, well, I'm good to go. If someone has a negative opinion and they're directing it at me, then I'll respond, but otherwise I won't. So the next thing is about basically colorism. Just recently, somebody was trying to pull the same situation as what I just mentioned, where someone in the live chat was freaking out because I mentioned that uh, I didn't mention anything, but I was on a live stream for pro black men and things of that nature, and I was on a live chat later on, like maybe a week later, that was pro swirling. Specifically, it was Crystal Swirl's um, live, basically. I was on her live chat. So, just recently, with colorism, I generally am on light skin channels, sometimes mixed channels, and I'm also on darker skin channels too that are pro colorism pushers and things of that nature. And, from my perspective, I have always been of the mindset that, like, with light skin channels, they're always trying to, like, push, sometimes it seems like, My problem is with light skin channels generally, they tend to seem like, on some channels, excuse me, like lighter is better. And I guess it's a light skin channel, so it's not too far off to have that mentality. But from my perspective, I don't see it that way. I don't see lighter is better. I'm happy with where I'm at, kind of situation. And so when people have that mindset, it's a turn off for me. And so I don't appreciate that kind of content. Now, the thing is, with those kind of channels, not all of them are like that. Some of them are just kind of like, they just share their own perspective, and it's kind of like comfy to be there. Um, and maybe they might talk more about like colorism, crybabies. And I agree that colorism doesn't exist. What I don't agree with is trying to talk poorly about dark skinned people and bring life back to colorism, defeating your own argument that colorism doesn't exist. When you start acting colorist, you prove that colorism does exist, so it's really dumb to do that. Um, but, I go on those channels still to share my piece of opinion, basically. And then, like, I go to, I guess you could say, colorism channels, for the darker skinned women. And when I go there, I don't go there to basically, I don't go there to talk about how I agree with colorism. Usually I go there to talk about something specific that caught my eye, or maybe they're a divested channel and they just happen to talk about colorism for one time. But generally, I don't really focus on that. I will focus more on divestment and swirlers. And divestors and swirlers will assume that because I'm on the mixed channels, that I'm against darker skinned women. And that's so far from the truth. For me, it's not like that. For me, it's like I think that dark skin is more ideal, so that's why I have my own thing of like, oh, I don't think you guys are inferior or treated inferior because, from my perspective, I've always felt like I was treated less than dark skinned women. So to me, it's like, you know, I don't really, agree with some of their points and point of views when it comes to colorism. But I'm not colorist against them. I mean, I think that they're better than me. And, I've always liked their phenotype. Then that's why I'm showing a slide of my photos, basically Photoshop, that I make myself look darker. And I'm thinking of actually putting it as my avatar because I think if I make it my avatar, it might make it a little bit more partial to dark skin. And it could just show my preference towards dark skin naturally without people, getting, upset at me for just being on the lighter skinned channels for a bit. So, excuse me. That's just generally how I feel on that topic. I felt like just recently someone was acting like I was against dark skinned girls because I was on a platform for mixed women, or that I was, trying to put mixed women as better. Obviously, from my perspective, when people do things like that and they act like lighter is better, especially lighter is better, you're basically implying that everybody's less than, that includes mixed women, and white women are on top. So, I mean, like, if you're not white, you don't want that to happen to you or imply that is what you think of yourself, because it basically means that you have very low self-esteem. I would never participate in such a thing because I mean, like, I feel like I was either dumb, low self-esteem, or just plain out self-hating. So yeah, I don't promote things like that. And she was, I think, just mistaken that I thought that way. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say on that. I'm gonna be done with this video. I'm just trying to explain that, personally for me, I'm not specifically with any one sector of Black YouTube. In fact, sometimes I don't even talk about Black issues, honestly. Um, One of the latest YouTubers that I spoke about is a white YouTuber, just earlier this month. I regularly watch her. I have such mixed feelings about her, but that's on another topic. I don't know, but yeah. Um, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Bye.